Alright, here we are again. Basement Booker here for WCW Returns. Last week, we crowned our first three champions. Bobby Roode as our WCW champion, Chris Hero as our United States champion, and Kendrick and London as the tag team champions. Tonight is the aftermath of that, as well as the beginning to the build-up to WCW's first pay-per-view, or the return to pay-per-view at Bash at the Beach, a very highly regarded pay-per-view, as everybody would know from history of WCW, and that's where we'll be starting for pay-per-views. So, without that said, let's get started here on Tuesday Night Ignition. So, MVP, as you know, has been suspended, but I'm still going to use him for pre-show matches to help younger talent. As long as he's not on the main roster, it doesn't count. So he is going one-on-one here with Amazing Red. So in a pre-show bout that at Subpar Wrestling in Little Heat, MVP defeats the Amazing Red in 7:52 with a Playmaker. MVP had an in-ring performance of 53, Amazing Red a 34. And no improvements, which is kind of the whole point of this, is just to help the younger talent get more improvements. So 49 rating, which isn't bad by any means. Same thing here. RVD was not on this show. I wanted him to have a week off from the main show, so instead I put him in a pre-show match. So in a poor pre-show match, RVD defeats Rhett Titus, 6:42 with a 5-star frog splash, Titus with a 30, RVD with a 54. Main thought here is to just help the young guys, like I said, and still no improvements. So literally, I just had no use for those two matches because neither person improved. So that's fantastic. So moving on to the main show. So the show opens up with owner, general manager Mick Foley hitting the ring and announcing the first ever WCW champion, Bobby Roode. So Bobby Roode gets this huge elaborate entrance after becoming the first ever WCW champion. Mick Foley did a masterful job improvising. Roode improvised well. Bobby Roode was very underwhelming, so that's unfortunate, but an 83 rating overall. And Bobby Roode is learning to show more charisma, which is great. Now we have Bobby Roode. He takes the mic and talks about how glorious it is to be the WCW champion, and being the first one is something the It Factor always does. He takes over companies. He did it for multiple years in TNA, and now I'm doing it in WCW. He clearly enjoyed having the freedom to go off script, and the crowd got hotter, which is good. No skills. But then, Chris Hero's music hits and interrupts Bobby Roode, and says that you're not the only first ever champion here in WCW, as I won the United States Championship last week, and just because you're the WCW champion does not make you better than me as the United States champion. So Chris Hero struggled, and Bobby Roode had them in the palm of his hand. Verse 65. And then Mick Foley grabs a mic and says, "Tonight, let's find out. United States champion Chris Hero versus WCW champion Bobby Roode." So that is the main event tonight. Champion versus champion, both non-title, with a rating of 58. I don't need to do that, because it's already booked. And about that, a decent wrestling, but little heat. Marty Scurll defeats Roderick Strong in 6:59 by pinfall with a graduation due to distraction of Aaron Stevens attacking Roderick Strong. So this is just Marty gets over due to the feud of Stevens and Strong. Scurll had a performance of 38, and Strong had a performance of 56, so that's good. No improvements, but the rating of 50 for this match is solid. Alright, we get to in a terrible match. Shima Ion defeat Matt Bentley in 5:50 by pinfall from Lust to Dust. Just another match for Shima Ion to get over. Matt Bentley is just kind of my jobber type guy at this point, but this did what it needed to do. Bentley's getting better at his gimmick, which is good. Ion got a 43, and Bentley got 22. So Bentley, even though he is jobbing, performance is getting better. And his performance skills increase again, so that's good. Alright, so now, backstage we have Roderick Strong entering Mick Foley's office and demands a singles match next week against Aaron Stevens. And due to the distraction that Stevens caused him in his match to lose, as well as this has been building up for a few weeks now. And Mick Foley grants his wish, so next week, on Tuesday Night Ignition, it'll be Roderick Strong versus Aaron Stevens. And Roderick Strong improvised well, Foley worked the crowd well, and storyline advanced. So that's good. And a rating of 60. So, good solid feud there. Alright, and about that had Subpar Wrestling, Little Heat, Motor City Machine Guns defeat the Killer Elite Squad in 903 when Chris Sabin defeats Harry Smith by pinfall with a Cradle Shock. In terms of ring work, Alex Shelley was head and shoulders above everybody else, which is kind of expected still. Alex Shelley was off his game, Motor City Machine Guns have excellent chemistry, and Lance Hoyt had 36, Smith had 36, Sabin 45, and Shelley at 54. Just featuring some tag teams here, just helping building up the tag team division as best as I can. Something I really want to focus on in this series is tag team wrestling, so I really want to make sure I do it correctly this time. And Alex Shelley's improving in Rumble, so that's good. Improvements are always good, and a rating of 50. So, pretty good so far, building up, even with no storyline here too as well. Cody Rhodes cuts a promo on Stu Sanders, so here, Cody Rhodes is talking about, Stu Sanders last week, I defeated you, and we, settled the score from the tournament, but you wanted a rematch against me, so tonight, it's Cody Rhodes and Stu Sanders one more time, and we go from there. Cody Rhodes is getting better. Brandy Rhodes helped during this, which is good, and no improvements, and a 59 rating. And we get in a decent match. Stu Sanders defeats Cody Rhodes by pinfall in 12:54 with a handful of tights, which is the goal here. Stu Sanders goes over in a dirty fashion. The crowd got hotter. Cody Rhodes had 58, Stu Sanders with 60. These two guys are not done in this feud clearly if Stu Sanders cheated to win, which ties them up 1-1 each. So that's also very good. Solid build here. Rating of 59, which is good. No improvements, but I like the work I'm getting out of both of these guys. So that's good. Here we just have the new WCW Tag Team Champions backstage, having a good time. They're the first WCW Tag Team Champions. They don't have a match tonight, but they're having the little mini celebration that they're having, and know that the competition is fierce. Kendrick clearly enjoyed. London was terrible. London is getting better. That's good. No improvements, but a 45. Alright. Rhino cuts a promo, hyping himself, talking about so far here in WCW, nobody's been able to stand up to the man beast. Everybody says that, I've been washed up, but I always have gores ready to go. And as you saw last week, I can still hold my own against all these young guys, as he did in the Scramble, and then the week before that, he beat Matt Bentley in dominating faction. So, why would tonight be any different? No improvements, but a rating of 70, which is much higher than I thought. Here we have, in a porn match, Rhino defeats Kenny King in 6:34 with a gore. Rhino is getting better at his gimmick. Rhino had a 58, and Kenny King with a 30. I was hoping for more from Kenny King here, but this hopefully does two things. Gets Rhino another victory, and hopefully gets Kenny King a little bit of an improvement. Oh, it does not. That's unfortunate. But Rhino gets another victory, which is good. I don't know what exactly my plans are, but we'll see from here. With a 49 rating, I'll take that. Post-match, Mr. Anderson attacks Rhino, hitting him with a chair, and then hitting him with a mic check on that chair. To add insult to injury, Mr. Anderson puts the chair on Rhino's throat and sits on it, and is cutting a promo on Rhino as he is sitting on it, saying, "Rhino, me and you, we are not strangers to each other. And I heard what you said earlier about how you're a veteran who can hang with the young guys still. Well, guess what? You're not the only one, and tonight I made sure that you're not the only guy who can hold his own here. And, I want to rectify WCW and get rid of the man who claims the gore. And tonight was the beginning of that. So Mr. Anderson having some issues with the Man Beast Rhino out of nowhere too. So, rating of a 48. Alright, here we have another tag team match, and about that decent wrestling but little heat. The Young Bucks defeat the Mexicools in 7:57 when Matt Jackson defeated Super Crazy by pinfall with more bang for your buck. Young Bucks obviously have excellent chemistry considering they're brothers. Super Crazy at 37, Psychosis at 30, Nick Jackson at 61, and Matt Jackson at 65. Another solid tag team matchup here, which is the goal, a rating of 54. I'll take that. Improvements, none, but that's okay. So, the tag team division is actually doing very well, shockingly enough, at 54. Alright, a video airs showing Rob Van Dam will return next week to, hopefully we'll see what he's got in store for us after losing to Bobby Roode in the finals of the WCW Championship Tournament. Here we have Bobby Roode cutting a promo on Chris Hero, saying that as WCW champion, he should not have to face anybody tonight. At week after becoming the first WCW champion, he feels it is not right and injustice. But he understands the threat that Chris Hero is and what he can do in the ring. But he also says that he is the reason he is the WCW champion and Chris Hero is not is because Chris Hero lost in the 8-man tournament and got lucky in the 6-man scramble just to win the U.S. title. So that's a 52. No improvements. And in a decent match, Bobby Roode defeats Chris Hero. Non-title match for both parties, 13-28 by pinfall after using a foreign object. Bobby Roode had a performance of 65, Chris Hero 48. Rating of a 58, so. The goal here was to feature these two guys against each other, but protect both men, while Bobby Roode gets the victory, which is exactly what happened and was the goal. Chris Hero is improving in performance, so that's good news. 58 rating. And then after the match, as Bobby Roode always does, goes way over the top with the celebration, as a true heel would, and gets a 76 rating. And no improvements. And we got a 65 rating for this show. That's much better than the first three, as we were getting 60, 57, and a 60. Now we're up to a 65. So we are building, no doubt. We also sold out the arena with 3,500 people. So we are building. And next week, hopefully we can start coming up with what we're going to be going towards for the Bash of the Beach pay-per-view. We have about a month build-up to go. So I'm excited to see where we can go from here. But until next time, I will see you later.